Hello everyone, it's Cyril from SUMAB company Sweden. We're now in the main office in Malmo, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about our company, our main business. This video is prepared for all our partners in different countries all over the world, so in that case we need to make some small introduction. First of all, SUMAB is a group of companies. For example, SUMAB Energy is working only with the generators, for example, the gas generators, the diesel generators, all this type of equipment. And SUMAB is the main branch working for block making machines, for making machines that can produce concrete blocks, pavers, curbstones, all this stuff, and also the concrete mixing plant. So all equipment for produce the concrete and concrete products. And of course, working with materials. That's why we also have stone crushing machines. But let's start with the first step. The main equipment we're working with is block making lines. We have stationary machines and mobile type. All of them producing concrete products like paving stones, curb stones, different type of concrete blocks like hollow blocks, solid blocks, all this stuff. So I'm gonna show you a little bit about how it works. Here on the video you can see the different type of machines we're using, and also the main thing, it's the set of equipment that could be involved in the business, because that can be just a machine, the basic part. So the company just want to produce some kind of concrete product, so they start with the main machine, stationary, mobile type, doesn't matter. And in that case they need to understand, okay, we are producing concrete products, what's next? Because it's a whole part of the process. It's not only on the producing, but also the curing part, the handling part, packing, and all this stuff. So in that case, company needs to understand that if they will use just the basic stuff or the fully automatic lines and working with the robots, because otherwise they need to use a lot of labor, and for some countries it's not a very good solution. So here we have like different models of the stationary line. That's a model 400, 500, 1000 and 1500. That's like the list of the basic lines that we have here. All of them can be either the start set of equipment and the full automatic line, and of course that can be some kind of different options, different combination of the equipment inside, just to fit in the budget. So that's also the very important point. The capacity you can see here also on the screen. So for the mobile type, mostly we use the two type of machines, 1010 or 12 model. And in that case they produce the main difference between them, the same like for the stationary machine is the capacity, because the higher the capacity, the bigger machine is. That's really simple point here. So you have a machine, but of course if you want to produce the concrete products and using the block making machines, you need to have, of course, the concrete equipment to produce concrete itself, because you need to feed the machine with the concrete to make the, for example, concrete blocks. In that case, we can discuss a little bit about the other part of the equipment that we are making. It's a concrete stationary plants and concrete mobile batching plants. So here it is. You can see it also on the pictures. So what we're going to talk with you about is a solution that can be here. The concrete mixing equipment, concrete mixing plants, using mostly for the ready-mix concrete for sale, of course, the concrete for block making machines, concrete for this vibro pressing stuff, and also for the wet cast and precast equipment. It's really different parts of the business, different parts of the manufacturer, and in that case, it involves different type of concrete. And of course, for these solutions, we need to understand exactly what the customers want to make. That's why we're asking every time if we receive the request for the concrete mixing plant, we need to understand what type of products he will make, or for example, the capacity of the concrete, if it will be the concrete for sale, like ready mix. And also we will understand exactly what type of mixer should be included in the set of equipment. It can be twin shaft mixer, planetary mixer, or the simple pan mixer or turbine mixer. Uh, Otherwise, that could be really difficult to find a good solution for the customer if we don't know, or he doesn't know actually what he will produce, or just asking us for the prices or stuff like that. So here it is. You need to understand what you will produce, and the second case, you need to understand how much will be in cubic meters per hour, for example, or per shift. That's it, really simple. The second part of the equipment is stone crushing machines, because, for example, you have the block making machine, you have the concrete mixing plant, that's good. What you actually need to have more is the materials, because if you want to produce concrete, you need to have the materials, like gravels, stones, sand, cement, all this part. So for sure you need to have the cement silo. It depends on the capacity of the batching plant, so we can decide about how many tons should be for the cement silo. The second thing is about the materials itself. Customer can buy it on the market, and if it is really good solution, good prices and all this stuff, or if customer has a quarry, for example, over the stuff, he can buy the stone crushing machine and make the materials himself. That's also actually the solution for that part of business. And we work a lot with the companies like that who actually have quarries, and in that case they can use stone crushing machines. Second part, they have the materials. Second part is the concrete mixing plant, mobile or stationary. It depends on the type of concrete or the type of using it. And if customer wants to produce concrete products, for example, he can use a precast equipment or the block making machines. Actually, the precast equipment is another part of our business, and it's like, I would say, the most complicated one. Because, for example, for the block making machines and the concrete mixing plant, you can go just through the catalog or the website, checking different models, checking the capacity, and then decide about, okay, yeah, I want to produce the paving stones about the 400 square meters per shift or something like that, or the batching plant, I want to produce 60 cubic meters per hour. That's quite simple. But for the precast, it's totally different business. For the precast, we need to understand exactly what type of products will be produced, because for different type of products, there are a lot of different stuff should be included. Precast sounds simple if you check from the first step. It can be, for example, the concrete vibration table for precast, for making, I would say, panels for the building, wall panels, all this stuff. Quite simple, just a table with a vibration, with a hydraulic, and you can work with. But actually, that's not enough for the normal production, because we need to understand about the heating system for the table, we need to understand about the capacity, and of course the drawings, the type of the plates or the panels that will be produced. So that's quite not a simple stuff. And these days, nowadays actually, very popular to use a modular system when you make the precast with the whole blocks of building. So like 3D precasting and all this stuff. So in that case, it's even more complicated and sometimes simple, because if the customers start with a little bit engineering, a little bit more details about what he actually wants to produce with the drawings and technical specification, for us it will be much more simple to just to start with offering him some solutions, because we will say actually how much he will produce, what type of the products, and the like all the stuff that he actually use. For example, if he doesn't have the concrete mixing plant, it's not possible to start with a precast business, because actually you also need to have the concrete producing equipment. So that's quite simple and complicated in the same way. So it's more simple if the customer has the full picture and the full understanding about what he wants to produce, and completely really difficult if company just want to start without knowing anything about that. For the block making machines, here is easier, because we can support the customer with all the information for the block making machines and explain him how to start this business, because that's standard products. Actually, for different countries, different standards, but for us, it's standard in the whole way. For example, the hollow blocks, the paving stones, different height, different shapes, but for us it's a standard thing, so we can provide all the information to the customer. That's it. Also, of course, as I told you from the beginning, we have a SUMAB energy company who supplies for the gas generator and diesel generators. That's actually also connected to the business, because if customer wants to open a big factory with a lot of equipment involved, with a big territory, there should be a lot of energy. And like if he has only 200 kilowatts and wants to start a really really big production, that's not enough. So he needs to have some kind of solution for the power station or the generators. Sometimes also generators used like a backup, like a support for the production. That's also part of the business. So you can see it's quite simple. All the equipment that we're making all connected to the same business, and it's all around the concrete production. That's it. Because we received some requests that not related to our business, and we need to explain to the customer that sorry, we're working only with the concrete stuff. Yeah, of course, we have some companies in our group who are doing different stuff these days connected with the construction and not really with the concrete, because these days, especially in Europe, in Sweden, for example, it's very popular to use some kind of ecological concrete and eco solution for the construction. That's another part and should be another topic for a different video for that thing, because that's a quite a big topic. There can be different type of ecological concrete, different type of mixing design and all this stuff. So that's not part of this video. Also, a little bit about how we work with our partners, about our connection. We have a lot of them in different countries. Some of them is like companies, another it's a private sector, like people who supply, provide our products on the market. And yes, we provide them full the information, full support of the equipment, and we organize some kind of events together. Very popular from our company, of course, participation in the events, the big events like Bauma in Germany and all this stuff. That's one thing. Another thing is just real our type of events is the business forums. We have a SUMAB business forums in different countries, and for example, this year it was in Sweden, Malmo. Last year it was in Romania, in Bucharest. So that's it, and actually that's a good opportunity for the companies meet each other, meet other players from this market, from this business, to share the experience, some knowledges, and maybe find the partners there to make the business together. That's a good stuff. And also on that forums, we can discuss about really new technologies, new trends, and the construction business, especially the concrete part, of course. So, of course, we will share the full updates about upcoming forum that will be in the new country, and you will know about that from our news or from our website. That's it. That's about the events. Of course, for our partners, we're ready for communication with the companies or the people who has experience in the concrete or construction business, because actually we'll speak in the same language, and in that case that could be a really good opportunity for both of us. That's it. Thank you for watching. Please check all the information if you need it from our managers, and they will send you by emails or WhatsApp. Yeah, the best way of communication these days. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.